The state of Ohio is launching a new pilot program that would actually pay select students in the public school system $500 a year just to attend school. Now, the proposal comes amid a very serious problem of school truancy, absences, which have unfortunately increased significantly during the coronavirus pandemic, and things have not returned to pre-pandemic levels. So let's take a look at this graph because it'll give you a sense of what's transpiring in the state of Ohio. It gives you a sense of how truancy has increased since the pandemic, and it has not gone down. According to data from the state's education department, 26.8% of students were chronically absent in Ohio for the 2022-2023 school year. The percentage was down from the 2021-2022 school year when 30.2% of state students fell under the chronically absent designation, but it was still an increase from both the 2018-2019 school year, which was at 16.7%, and the 2020 to 2021 school year, which was at 24%. Now, if you're wondering what chronic absenteeism is, it's defined as having missed 10% overall of all school hours, no matter what the reason is for the absence. So there's now a bipartisan effort to basically pay some of these students in this pilot program to get them into class. You have Democratic Representative Danny Isaacson and Republican Representative Bill Seitz teaming up to draft this legislation. The pilot program will work as follows. Every other week, the education department will make $25 cash transfers to participating 9th grade students and parents or guardians of the kindergarten students with a 90% or higher attendance rate during that 2-week period. And then at the end of each quarter, participants with an attendance rate of 90% or higher will receive $150. Then at the end of the school year, students will get $500 if they land in the same attendance percentage range. Additionally, high school seniors will get checks of $250 upon graduation, and they'll get an additional $250 if they graduate with a higher GPA of 3.0 or higher, or $500 if they graduate with a 3.5 GPA or higher. And so a total of $1.5 million has been set aside for this pilot program. And of course, there are some who are criticizing this. They don't think it's gonna work. They don't think this is a good use of the money. We'll get to them in just a moment, but I am curious what you think about this, Cenk.
Yeah, so let me give you both sides. First, it'll work. I mean, that's good money. People will come in to get the money. I'd be surprised if they didn't. That's usually how humanity works, right? On the other hand, it's definitely ridiculous. Like, you're supposed to go to school, so us paying you to do the thing you're supposed to do feels weird and wrong. But I might be open to a pilot program. I mean, look, who knows what works, but it feels crazy. And so I'm not unaware that it feels crazy.
It feels very American to just throw money at a problem without addressing what's causing all of the absenteeism to begin with. So apparently they've tried other things. One of the lawmakers, the Republican, says that no other efforts help to increase the school attendance. He said, quote, "So we've tried pizza day." That's such a corporate America thing to do. Anyway, we've tried pizza day and we've tried playground hours and we've tried all kids or all kinds of foo-foo stuff. It doesn't seem to work. So let us talk about the immediacy of a payment in cash. Cash is king, cold hard cash. In God we trust, all others pay cash. Okay. He also says you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. That's what we're trying to do. The stick approach to compel attendance has not worked. And the other incentives that we have handed out, I guess, are not sufficiently good incentives to get people to change their behavior. But like, what's causing the behavior? What is discouraging people from going to school? What is the problem? And there are others who think it's a horrible idea. I just want to give you quick statements from them. And honestly, I lean in their direction. Ohio State Representative Josh Williams, he is a Republican, says, why are we going to pay kids to follow the law? Well, I don't actually agree with him because he kind of wants to go through like a criminal prosecution type treatment of this, which I don't think is a helpful thing to do. I think it's actually far more helpful to, again, figure out what's causing this problem to begin with, reach out to the parents and see if you can work with them to solve whatever those issues are. And I'll give you more information about what I think should happen in just a moment, but Cenk.
Yeah, so it kind of feels like universal basic income for kids. So I know it's a bit of an odd analogy, but look, the reason why I say I'd be open to a pilot program is it's not infeasible that you could do one and you spend $1.5 million and 15% more kids come back in, and of the 15%, 5% would have been arrested based on stats, and that would have cost us $15 million. So we just saved a lot of money, right? So it's not impossible. And I'm in favor of experimentation. But having said that, overall, I'd be surprised if I was convinced in that direction, because I share Anna's skepticism here. Putting a financial band-aid on a problem to get folks to do the thing they were supposed to do in the first place doesn't seem like a great idea. So I have a theory on why this is happening. It's just a theory, but one of them, it's that higher education has become so untenable now that some percentage of people might think once they got a job during COVID, et cetera, because a lot of these kids wound up getting jobs then, that they think, what's the point? I go back into school and then I got to pay like what, $100,000 to get an education. I'm never going to be able to pay it off. I might as well just stick with the job I have.
Okay, but like you need at least a high school degree, at least. That's the point. But that's the point. You get your high school degree.
I'm not agreeing with it. Of course, I think they should finish high school, right? But I'm trying to explain the logic of why people might not be coming back. They might think I already have a job, so how is school gonna help me get a better job? Because it's not realistic to go to college. And I don't have $100,000, I'm not rich.
There's also been an explosion of teenagers entering the workforce. That was a recent story that was reported by the Wall Street Journal. So your theory might have some merit to back it up. But I do wanna just talk a little bit about what other school districts have done that has actually yielded incredibly positive results. And we've actually talked about this before. These are the educators from Salem Avenue Elementary School in Washington County, Maryland. And they decided, you know what, if we're having trouble with our students performing, why don't we actually visit them? Why don't we actually reach out to them? And let's take a look. This is our coverage of that. 1 week before the start of school, equipped with maps and class lists, teachers from Salem Avenue Elementary hit the streets for what's known as the Blitz. Molly Adams and Stacy Yost teach 3rd grade at Salem Avenue. Together, they have 30 students on their list. That's 30 homes to visit. They'll spend hours traveling Hagerstown, knocking on doors, introducing themselves, and meeting the students and their families. The school's principal, Thomas Garner, incredible guy, is the one who actually came up with this idea back in 2012. He came up with the Blitz idea. He wanted teachers to see firsthand how their students live and the challenges they face. Because at Salem Avenue Elementary, every student faces challenges. According to federal data, 100% of the students live in poverty. The school is outperforming all other schools in the state. So here's a good pilot program that I think they should try. They want to do this pilot program, okay, fine, let's see what happens. But how about you use those resources to increase the pay of the teachers and do a similar program to what they're doing at Salem Avenue Elementary School in Maryland?
Yeah, you just addressed the thing I was gonna say, because we asked teachers to do so much, now we're gonna ask them to do this. But if you use that same $1.5 million, I give them plenty of incentive, and that's a much better way of dealing with it. Number one, we already have some sense that it's gonna work, because there's some facts right there to back it up. A pilot program like I asked for has already been done. And of course that makes more sense, because you're engaging on a personal level that is much more likely to get you to the right place than some short-term cash that's gonna only, at best, work short-term results.
Exactly.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. We also love it if you hit the join button below, because that makes you a member, and members allow us to be independent, honest. We can be as progressive as we want, no corporate media influence, and that's all because of you guys. We love doing the show with our members. Hit the join button, become one of the Young Turks.